Good afternoon, good morning, good day to everyone. This is Captain Gaurav Rana from Sea and Beyond. And welcome to this webinar on, MEL, essentially, a Maritime Economics and Logistics course, which is being, presented by Erasmus and their Center of Maritime Economics and Logistics. I've got the presenters with me. I've got Captain Abhishek, who is a past alum and who's working in Rotterdam. And I've got Felicia. She's from the university, from the school itself, who will tell us more about the course. So thanks, Abhishek and Felicia, for joining in, and welcome to the webinar. Thank you everyone for joining in as well. So essentially a quick one, we are doing this webinar so that for those who would like to know where they can study, what can they study, how can they study, what is in it for them, you don't have to go to a friend of a friend of a friend or look on internet, download brochures, of course, which you can do that. But if you need information, you get first-hand information at one place from the university representative as well as from a past alum. The idea is you can take a well-informed decision after going through the webinar. So just a couple of things. If you can, all of you can rename yourself to your real name, not the name of your maybe the phone, laptop, or your relative. It helps us to address you when you have your questions. You can put the question if you have any in the chat window, but we will take the questions at the end of the webinar. So more than happy if you feel on that particular slide any question is not answered, you may put it, but there is every likelihood that the answer may come on the next slide, but we can take it at the end of the webinar. Moving on, I've got Captain Abhishek with me. Captain Abhishek is, of course, a master mariner, and he was previously he was sailing, and then he did this course in 2016. He then went to work in Stoll Tanker as in their trading division, and then he was an independent consultant for sustainable solutions in port development. He in his current role, he's a director of business development at Port Exchange. It's a subsidiary of Port of Rotterdam, and he's a subject matter expert at IMO Global Industry Alliance for Ship-Port Interface as well. So thanks for joining in, Abhishek. Appreciate your time. We've got Felicia as well. Felicia is the assistant program manager and program coordinator for this course. So any and every questions about the course, she's the best placed person to answer those. She's responsible for external communication, alum relations, international marketing strategy, establishing and maintaining relationships, research, business, and her specialty is in the maritime sector. Thanks for your time, Felicia. Thanks for joining in, and we really look forward to hearing from you in the webinar as well. Before I move forward, let me take a quick poll, and this poll is about you. What is your rank? One second, I have to the previous poll. Okay, this is about the audience. If you can tell us a bit about yourself. Are you sailing? At what position? If you're settled ashore after sailing, or you've never went to sea. So this just gives us an idea as to whom we are talking to, whom we are giving the presentation. So got about 60% of you who have voted. A few more polls, please. A few more answers, please. Okay. So, right. It's been a minute and I'm ending the poll now. Now I'm sharing the results for everyone to see. So it's a pretty, even audience. We've got top four sailing 35%, followed by persons who were sailing and settled ashore 29%. Those who were sailing at an operations level 24%, and never went to sea about 12% of the audience. Right. I have another poll, and this is about, let me just, uh, okay. So this poll is, you're in the webinar, you essentially are looking to study, right? And you're looking to invest in yourself. What is your reason to invest in a mid-career education? Is it a lifestyle, a stable lifestyle wherein you don't have to travel to the sea? You want to get recognized, you want to gain business knowledge, or it could be others. So look forward to your answers, please. All right, I'm ending the poll with whosoever had answered. And so, Abhishek, Felicia, the primary reason for people to invest is to have a stable lifestyle, right? Gain business knowledge comes a distant second, others is third, and get recognized is the least of the answers. Yeah, we as mariners, stability, being with the family, I think that's our paramount. That's what we probably look for. Um, Over to you, Abhishek. What was your reason? Why did you invest in a mid-career education? And over to you, please. And really, thanks for coming in.
So when I took up this course, the C and Beyond was just getting started, and you were not conducting these webinars. So I was definitely not as well informed for sure. And these polls that you've put up are very, very interesting. It's very interesting to see the breakup of the audience. From where are they coming? It's very interesting to see, even candidates who are already working ashore, they're also looking at courses like this. So very interesting. And yeah, the second one, which was about having a stable lifestyle. So when I created this image out of the early versions of Dali. So yeah, it very much represents how unstable a seafarer's life is. So that being said, so good afternoon, everybody. So yeah, as Gaurav mentioned, my name is Abhishek. Uh, yeah, I've been a sailor just like most of you all. I still identify myself as a seafarer, on deputation ashore. Okay, so and as I just mentioned, in a lighter note, when I want to do a mid-career education, I was not clear as to why I want to do. I didn't have any kind of uh, goals or anything like that. So my primary thing was, hey, yeah, I was very happy sailing. I was having a lot of pressure from my wife that, hey, you should probably look for something ashore. Uh, and my daughter was also, she was not going to school at that time. She was still about 3 years old. So for me, it was more like, yeah, let me take a sabbatical for a year, and then we'll figure it out. Uh, so that those were the things, but the advantage now, we always say, hindsight is always 20 by 20, right? So in hindsight, when I start thinking about this, and more importantly, as when I came ashore, or in the case of, let's say, Gaurav, when he came ashore, I don't really think we had created this kind of a community for us to ask each other, as to, what is it that you want to do? What are your options out there? It was fairly, very, very limited. Uh, if I can speak for myself, I was a very introverted person. Yeah. Okay. Uh, I loved being out at sea, and I think I was doing my job fairly well. But to look ahead, how do you look ahead, that I didn't know. And that, I think, comes very much from our life out at sea, because if I talk about just from the navigation team, we are very myopic. We have a voyage plan, yes, but everything otherwise we are more reactive. We are not thinking about 30 days ahead. Yeah, if the storm comes, we'll handle it. So we are very myopic, and there is a need for us to have more of a long term plan as to what is it that you want to do. So just like when I was in that state in 2015, I was just thinking, okay, yeah, I will go do a sabbatical now, study. And then and then get back to sea. And if not, if something comes around interesting, then I'll always look at it. So that was what I was thinking. But now I think that was a very, very wrong thing to do. I should have already made some kind of a plan. And now the more I talk to a lot of candidates like get to know, what your aspirations are. It is helping me also grow. It is helping me learn a lot. Uh, then now if I tell you, why should you be investing in a mid-career education? Number one and most important is the world is changing quite quickly. Uh, okay. So that is why you need to diversify your skill set. Now, the skill set that you have developed while being out at sea, or let's say if you have already moved ashore that you have been developing now, is quite immense. But how do you build more on it? You just can't sit on those, you just can't bask in the glory of what you did 10 years back. I went through this storm, I went through that storm, or, I changed a liner in force 10. Yeah, that's great. But what do you do after that? So you have to diversify your skill set. And to diversify your skill set, investing in a mid-career education is a great opportunity. So what will happen is when you come here, you are you're sparring with the best brains around. You're sparring with a completely diverse set of people, coming from different backgrounds, different nationalities, different professions, and that makes you grow. And with that, what happens is you're able to put your best foot forward. So then when you come out to the job market, whether you're going back to sea or whether you're going back, whether you want to go ashore, you're able to put your best foot forward. So you are coming out as a a renewed person altogether. So these are is a very important element of a mid-career education. And finally, it's about continuous professional development. Again, tying the other 2 points down, it's about how do you keep growing? How do you keep moving forward? Uh, there are a lot of us who might be very happy, just being a captain or a chief engineer. Okay. Mm. And if you're very, very happy and you have no pressure from family and all, you're just going great, I would say just continue doing that. But if there's the slightest inkling in your mind, I still have space in my mind to grow more, I still have a lot more to grow in my career, then a mid-career education is a very, very wise investment, is what I would say. Yeah, we can go to the next. Next
Just a
slide.
couple of comments, Abhishek. I mean, the audience has changed there. You've been doing this for past 6 years. Earlier, if you remember, the audience used to be top four predominantly 70%. Now it's also persons who are at operations level, persons who have also shifted ashore. And that's one comment. Second, this is just for everyone. You see here a introverted person doing business development work after
Yeah.
few years ashore. So that's how possibly your personality changes.
Yeah, absolutely, Gaurav. So I have definitely learned and grown over the years. I'm still an introverted person, but I know where I need to be extroverted. So I'm probably at choice I'm being extroverted, and otherwise I'm being my own introverted self. But I know when I need to go out and network and meet people, and it helps me. I will talk about that later, but it really helps me. Mm. So yeah, so why did I choose the MEL program? So as I said, at that point of time, there weren't many options. There weren't many resources to check. What is it that you would like to do. But one thing, when I thought, hey, I'll do this, I'll take the sabbatical, I'll go and study outside for a while. I wanted to make it worth my time. I just don't want to go and waste my time doing just nothing. Uh, so one thing that I was very interested in was about learning about economics and learning about international trade. So that was my key focus. Mm, because again, that comes from my time out at sea. We are moving so much of cargo, in and out. And there are so many things that go behind it, when it comes to chartering or when it comes to, making these commercial contracts. Those I found that very, very interesting, and I wanted to learn more about it. Uh, so that is what I was keenly looking towards. And there again, that's where the MEL course had come up. So I had checked the course curriculum of the MEL program, and I found the subjects that they were offering were right up to my choice. Those were the things that I really, really wanted to do. So I had a couple of other options as well that I was looking at. But I didn't find those subjects or the course curriculum really enticing for me. Okay. Maybe for somebody else, they might have found that very, very interesting. But for me, that was not of my interest. So I wanted to do something very much towards economics, international trade, supply chain, mm, and yeah, more around logistics. So that was my keen interest. And then when I was researching MEL a little more further, I checked into the rankings of the university. The Erasmus School of Economics, which is conducting this course along with RSM. ESE is among the top 25 schools of economics in the whole world. So it's a top-notch university. The university itself is in the top 100. So yeah, it was right there. It was nothing that I had to think about twice. Hey, is this a valid course, or mm, is this of good quality? It's out there. It's out there in the open what the quality is. Next thing was about the duration, the dates of the program. One of the programs that I was also considering, that was a 2-year program. That was like way too long for me. And when I saw this was, yeah, right there, exactly 12 months. In 12 months you finish, and even the dates were kind of aligning with my own my sailing schedule. I didn't have to forego a lot of sailing or something. I say, yeah, exactly. When I sign off, I'll be able to go. I can start in October and for the next September. The dates aligned with my family as well. My wife was also able to then take off from work. Again, I also told you my daughter was not going to school at that point of time, but the following year she was becoming 4 and she had to go to school. So the duration and the dates were quite good for me. Then when it comes to location, uh, I mean, yeah, as more if we have been out at sea, uh, definitely you would have been somewhere, Rotterdam you might have come here, or you might have come to somewhere else in, let's say, Antwerp or Amsterdam. So I had been to this area a couple of times. I liked it. Uh, but yeah, a caveat is, I had come here in the summer, so I thought, yeah, in the summer it looks great. Okay, uh, so yeah, and the location was definitely a prime thing that I had considered. When I look at it now, what I do realize is that, let's not forget, Rotterdam is the largest port in the Western Hemisphere. It is a port that has been always at the forefront of innovation, of port innovation. It's the center of all logistics, all supply chain logistics. It is the very, very center. This was not something that I had considered then, but now when I look at it, yes, it is definitely at the very center of supply chain logistics. So that makes this location very, very important. And finally, it's the budget. The budget was just around what I was willing to spend. You would always think, hey, this is a little more expensive than I think. It was also for me. Also, it was in my plus, but I thought I could manage it, and that's how I came out to take this decision to move here.
Great. Moving to the next one. We've got Felicia as well. She's the program manager, and she's directly from the school. And Felicia, thanks for coming in and giving your time and presenting us about the course. Over to you, please. You may share your screen now.
Yeah, I'll do that. And if it's okay, I'm just going to turn off the video while I present, so it makes it easier.
Sure. While you share your screen, let me ask a quick poll from the audience. And this is to the audience, did you hear about MEL of Erasmus University? Have you heard of this program before? All right, I'm ending the poll, and yeah, about 60% of you have not heard about this program, and that's precisely why we are doing this webinar, so that you understand more about this program. And those who have heard and you have any questions, feel free to ask later in the webinar. So yes, over to you, Felicia.
Yes, thank you very much, Gareth. And it's nice to hear that some of you, or almost have already heard about the program. And of course, for those of you that haven't, thank you for joining us today. Hopefully, I'll give you all the information you need. And of course, at the end, we can always happy to answer any more questions. Yeah, so hopefully today I can give you the best information that you can to see whether the decision to join the MEL program is indeed something that's a good fit for you. As Abhishek also kind of explained, it's a big decision that you make because you are taking a year out. So I'm just going to give you all the information I can, and hopefully for some of you, this will be a good fit. I will start first by just giving you some key facts about the program. So this M.SC Maritime Economics and Logistics is a unique postgraduate and post-international M.SC course that is offered here at Rotterdam at the Erasmus University, which, as mentioned already by Abhishek, is one of the world's top universities. As Abhishek also mentioned, it is located in a great location, which is Rotterdam, because it is indeed the heart of Europe when it comes to the shipping, transport, and logistics sector. So it's a great place to be to learn about subjects. And then it's also a very international program. On average, each year we have about 16 different nationalities per graduating class. So it's a great way to share knowledge with people from all over the world. It's a great way to get different insights, to foster discussion during the lectures and everything. It's also very diversified in the candidates that are doing the program, with a different range of work experience, the sectors in which they've worked. So it's just a great class that you will work with when you study the program, and you can learn a lot from each other and share a lot of different ideas and knowledge. That's also very nice. And beyond that, we also have an extensive network in the industry through both the corporate and the alumni network. Now, this is to give you a bit of the aim of the MEL program. So, of course, we aim at advancing promising young professionals into the future leaders of the maritime sector. Of course, we aim to give you outstanding qualifications and to give you a good and nice balance between theory and practice, just to enhance your competitive edge and give you all the skills and knowledge that you need to advance your career in the future. And we do that by providing you with both subject-specific and transferable skills, so that you can experience prospects for desired positions and boost your career in the maritime and logistics industry. And I see there's a poll at this portion of the...
Yeah, we took that poll earlier.
Okay, perfect. Then I will go on. And then, as Abhishek mentioned, the courses really fit with him. And here is just a quick overview of the courses that we offer. We have updated our curriculum this academic year, and we will continue with the update in the academic year that's upcoming. And so we've kind of distributed the whole year in which we'll be studying into different blocks, and we have divided into basic courses, which will give you the foundation and an introduction into the program, and you learn things such as data science, management science, different economics and microeconomics, international economics, and also geopolitical analysis and trade and maritime logistics. And then we also start with giving you research methods, which will be important for your thesis later on in the year. And from there, we build on your knowledge with the core courses, and these core courses run for a longer period of time to really get you the knowledge and dive deep into these subjects, as they're the main ones for the industry. And those courses are then the logistics and supply chain management course, the shipping economics and policy course, the port economics and management course. And from there, we build you more into specialty courses, so you go even more focused and more specialized. And those courses include maritime law, sustainability, and then shipping and transport finance. And then finally, we finish with an elective space. So you choose one of the two minors to go even more in depth and deep. And then you have the option of one of the two that fit you best. And then you can choose that, and then you finish with writing your thesis, which is also a big part of the program. But yeah, so having the courses set up this way, it just allows you to first build on theories and concepts, and then get you more thinking to analyzing and assessing these concepts, and then finally deep diving into the specifics with the specialty courses and really like fine-tuning all your knowledge and even little bits from the industry that could help you in your future. And this is just a brief overview of how the program is structured throughout the year. So we start in October and you finish at the end of September, and you have lectures and classes that you follow until the end of June. And afterwards you have the full 2 months, almost 3, to focus on specifically your thesis. And you can see a bit the structure about how the courses are run. So you start, of course, first 2 months are the bases. Then you have until the mid of April to do the core courses. As you can see, that's a bit of a longer block to really get the knowledge from those courses. And then you have then the specialty courses. And as I said, you finish with the thesis. Now, beyond this, as I said, we want to give you all the knowledge that you might need. But besides that, along with the academic skills and knowledge that you will learn, we also want to give you a good balance between theory and practice, so that you can see what you are learning in your lectures, in theory from your professors, and how that is applied in the business world, in industry, and see how those compare. So we do this by organizing various extracurricular activities, and we organize them with the involvement of a corporate and alumni network. And so they give you the opportunity to further understand the maritime sector, see how the trends and challenges that you're learning about are being faced in the industry and how they're dealing with them and which steps they are taking. But besides that, it also gives you a great opportunity to network, as you will get to meet more people and speak to more people as well. So that is another added bonus by these extracurricular activities that we like to organize for you. And then here is just a brief overview of what these different activities entail. So we have things which we call the professional development courses, and these are more shorter intensive seminars that are either a full day or some run for 10 hours, so they're a full week. And we have 3 different ones that we offer currently, and that's project management, which is always given at the beginning because it's also very useful to help you learn a bit of the time management that will help benefit you while you're studying the program as well. And then we also have Introduction to Line Operations and the BIMCO course, which of course is chartering, which we offer as well. Besides that, we also go on a number of company visits, and they are both abroad, and we do a trip every year as well. And we visit companies like the Port of Rotterdam, Maersk, Stolt, Damen Shipyards. And then abroad, for example, we go to Copenhagen, and there we also visit the Copenhagen Mama Port and some other businesses. And there you get to hear again from people who are working there about the companies, how they operate, what their like values, culture, mission, and everything is, just to give you also more insights into what's out there for you and which companies might be of interest for you to continue your career in. And then we also invite people to come and speak, and these can either be alumni or from the industry, and they give a short lecture, 2-3 hours, about something from the company where they're working and what's happening there. Let's see, previous speakers are, for example, the CEO of Vopak. We have the CEO of Hapag-Lloyd that comes and speaks, or the managing director. And we have Drury that comes and speaks. So there's quite a wide range. Also, just to give you different aspects from the industry, to again broaden your knowledge and give you the best knowledge that we have. Here's just a quick overview of our MEL corporate network, which I said that we work with. We also have some of our lecturers who come from the corporate world that come and lecture you as well, just to again add a bit of that practical knowledge. And as I said, we also have the MEL alumni community, which are all over the world, which of course are valuable knowledge for the current MEL students as they come and speak to you, but also, as you can see with Abhishek, they're more than happy as well to speak to prospective students, share their knowledge of the MEL program, their experience with it. So they're also very helpful for incoming prospective students to also share how they do it. And then again, if you graduate, it's always good to have alumni that you can speak to for something, question or connection network that you need. So an extension or corporate network as well, because of course, once they graduate, they go into that world as well. And like I said, they come and speak as well in the alumni lecture series. And here's just a quick overview of where the alumni come from or where they're located and working. So as you can see, it's quite widespread all over the world. So it's great to have that network available as well. And then finally, something I think is also a very positive point that we can share or offer you is that we also focus on something that we call the career development track. So it's different career services to give you the tools that you need to successfully continue your career. Them up. Of course, it's up to you to put the necessary work and take all the steps, but we're here to offer you all the tools and everything that we can just to put you in the best position possible. And so we offer things such as a CV check, a motivation letter workshop, interview training, training how to find and apply for a job. You also can have some coaching sessions for this. So just cover the whole range and hopefully give you the best tools that you need. And of course, making a big investment, you're taking a year out, you're doing this to find a job. So, oh, sorry, did I skip a poll?
No, please go ahead. You may go ahead. In the meanwhile, we can take the poll.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, so this is just give you an idea of the career prospects once you have completed the MEL program. And our alumni do actually have a good success rate of finding a job after the program. There's even a good number of students, at least 10% every year, who find a job already before they graduate. And around half is always 1 month after graduation that they have found a job. And what's something that's very useful, I think, always to do is that you can have a look on our website. And there we give an overview of our alumni, and then you can find their LinkedIn pages so that you can just have a look at which jobs, which companies they ended up, but you can also see what their background is, what they did beforehand, so that you can get an idea of if that matches with you, then what your possibilities are, and also just to give you an option of like which possible jobs and everything is out there. So I think that's a very good thing to do if you are considering the MEL program, just to have a look at that as well. And here, just for you now, we have a bit of overview of the positions that the alumni have. And as you can see, they vary widely from all different things to being more specific a business analyst, to being a maritime economics, or to actually be a ship broker or a trader. So you can have quite a few options of the kind of careers that you could go into after the program. So it's not that you're stuck just to one thing. So and then that can also be seen by the kind of different companies that the alumni end up working at. So there's many different companies that have still ties to the industry as well, even though they're not majorly specific in it. The link is still there. And so, yeah, you have a wide range of options as your career prospects, which is always, I think, good to know. Okay, do we want to do the poll?
Yep. Okay. This is just to understand, have you ever applied to a foreign university? And so, how many of you understand, how the typical application process takes place? Because for a few universities, extremely cumbersome. It takes a few weeks and sometimes months to just get you through. Because I mean, for various reasons, the very big universities and generally shipping maritime courses are a very small part of those universities. In MEL, I can say, because we've had a few persons apply through C and beyond. I mean, it's extremely fast. The response is very fast, and of course, the requirements and the process, which Felicia would tell us all. We've got a lot of persons who have voted, and let me share the results. About 80% of you have not applied. To those who have applied, once Felicia tells you the process, you will understand at how smooth this is. Over to you, Felicia.
Yeah, okay, yeah, so it's good to see that indeed not many of you have applied, but indeed, I would say the application process is quite smooth that we have here at MEL. So we need a couple of things from you. So first of all, you have to fit the requirements of the program, and for that we need a relevant bachelor minimum, and of course we need to then receive the transcript and the diploma from this bachelor or any other higher education institution that you've attended. We also need 2 letters of recommendation, preferably one to be from the employer. It can also be 2 from an employer, or it can be 1 employer, 1 from an academic person. And if there is no employer ready to give a recommendation, then will have to be 2 academic letters of recommendation. Furthermore, we also need demonstrated proof of the English language. Of course, we need this because the program is taught in English, and so it's important that our students are able to read with ease, follow the lectures, and they are able to express their thoughts in both written and spoken English. And so either this can be proven through an IELTS or TOEFL test, which have requirements, or exceptionally, if the education that you have followed is taught in the English language, then that will suffice as well as demonstrated proof. And so we also ask you to fill in a MEL application form, and all these documents can easily be uploaded on our website. So, and it's a very straightforward process. And then once you have uploaded all these documents on our website, then we will confirm the receipt of your application. And then our admissions committee will review the application as a whole and then make their decision. And then once they've made their decision, you will either be sent an acceptance letter or a rejection email. We do work on a first come, first served basis and ongoing basis. So throughout the year, we are processing applications. This also means that the decision time for your application is quite short. But it does also mean that even though we have a deadline, final deadline of 15th of July, we do have a capacity max of 45 students. So once the admittance has been reached, then the applications for that year will stop. So of course, it's better to apply sooner rather than later. And once you are, should you be accepted, and to ensure your place, of course, also because of the cap that we have at 45, we do ask for a prepayment of the tuition fee, which is 25% of the tuition fee. And then just to give you information about that. So as we said, the program is 1 year. We start in October, and the tuition fee is 29,500 for the whole year. And we also have just given an overview of the estimated living expenses here in Rotterdam, because of course that is a big deciding factor about whether it's worth or not to pursue the education. So let's see what you all say in the poll.
A little bit of a tricky poll. Fees always plays a critical role, but how much critical is it? It depends on the ROI. Does it matter? A few more answers, please, and then we'll stop the poll. All right, stopping the poll, and I mean, makes sense. 60% of you, it matters a lot, and for others, it depends on the return you get. All right.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, and rightfully so. So again, that's another factor, of course, to take into account when making the decision about the program. But here, just the information that you need. And then finally, I will just finish also with some practical matters, which are also good to know. Is that, of course, also the immigration information. The university will apply for your visa and the residence permit for you on your behalf. And something also good to know in case you have family is that once your residence permit has been approved, you are able to apply for one for your family so that you can bring them with you to the Netherlands. This whole process regarding immigration will start in June when you will receive an email with all the information that you need. But something very important to note is that before we can start the process, the full tuition fee will need to be paid. There's also an immigration fee, which this year is 228 euros. And finally, the Dutch Immigration Services, they also ask for proof of living fee, meaning that they want to see proof that you can sustain yourself for the amount of time that you will be living here. And this year they have set that at 14,820 euros, which is approximately around 1,200 euros per month. So you need to be able to prove to the Dutch immigration that you have that amount of money to sustain yourself living here. And then once the process has been started, you'll be asked to fill in a number of documents that you can it's very easy to upload in the system that you have. And then the immigration information starts. But yeah, keep that into account that also money-wise, you will need to have those funds as well before starting the MEL program. And then I think one slide is missing that I will just share now as well, and that's about the housing information. And there is currently a housing crisis in the Netherlands, so also in Rotterdam, which means that there are more people looking for housing than that is available. The university itself offers some accommodation that you can apply for as an international incoming master student, but that's only a small percentage. And on average, 1 or 2, maybe 3 MEL students a year have this accommodation. We as MEL also offer have some rooms at the student hotel, which range about 800 to 1,000 euros per month. And that's also maybe 2-3 students that live there. But that means for the majority of you will need to find accommodation on the private market. And again, it's difficult. And so it's very important that you ensure that you start that search also early and that you make sure that you have something before traveling to the Netherlands. Otherwise, you could be here for maybe a month or 2 staying in hostels or anything. So I think that is something important as well to note and keep in mind. The university does have their own housing department and a website, which gives all more detailed information about where you can look, how you can find stuff, what it means with like the contracts and what they're offering and everything. So if you are interested in joining, you apply for MEL and you get accepted, do also deep dive into that just to give yourself the most knowledge that you have about finding housing. I think that's also very important to share. And then that was everything from my end.
Yep. Thanks, Felicia. Thanks for a fairly comprehensive presentation. You told us about, most of the things, if not all, that as a future applicant that we would like to know. And now over to you, Abhishek, if you could tell us, it's been what, 8 years since you've passed out. Your reflections, how has the scores, the network that you've built helped you in your professional and if in any which way personal life as well?
Yep. Yeah. Thanks, Gaurav. Yeah. I just want to make one comment on Felicia's slides as well. I saw that the slide on the curriculum, and it's very good to see that how the curriculum has changed. So there was also one change, I think, about 3 years back, So this is there is quite some changes from when I started off. But again, in essence, the core has been kept around economics and supply chain and logistics. Uh, it looks even more enticing to me now, I should say. But again, it's not it's not everybody's cup of tea, you know. So you should have an interest towards economics, foreign trade, logistics, and supply chain. It's very much focused towards that. So again, I would very much highly recommend to anybody who's looking at these different courses, please look at the curriculum. Are these subjects something that you want to study, something that you want to use in your future career, future life? Yeah. Other than that, if I have to, there was also one slide about when Felicia said about the application deadline of July 15th. In my opinion, if you are heading for MEL, you should probably have decided well before that, and try to get your application in at least by first week of June. Uh, reason being as non-EUs, when the immigration has to process your application, it'll take much longer. So July 15th is cutting it too close, in my opinion. But again, that's that's up to you guys. Yeah. Yeah. So my reflection and opinion 8 years down the line. So number one, I should tell you, it's been when I compare myself as to when I was out at sea and what I'm doing now, I'm able to critically analyze different trends, and different trends, analyze and critically analyze them. That's very important. Be able to give an answer, be able to have an argument over something, and have an intelligent answer about things, at different macro and micro levels. I think that's been very, very important. Otherwise, before that, yeah, the only thing I knew about was a ship. Yeah. Okay, that's all I knew about. Okay, and I loved it. I honestly loved it, But yeah, if you're looking to expand, broaden your scope, broaden your horizon, then yeah, that's what it is. It has done to me. I very much understand. What information and sources can be trusted. How do you do research? I enjoy doing research. I put a lot of time into it. Yeah, as you would have seen in that first slide, which Gaurav was saying, yeah, I do a lot of part-time consulting. Mm, yeah, I in fact consult for some of the top consulting firms, give them maritime expertise, ports expertise, uh, and yeah, when you're consulting with them, you have to be able to do proper research, and it's not that you just can't give anecdotal evidence. So it's you should know how to research. Okay, then I have an expanded network. An expanded network that is quite large. It's not just only from my batch alone. It is from the entire alumni network. Okay. And more than that, it's also from within the alumni network, you connect to even other people also. If I were to just take an example, just yesterday. So this week, I'm actually working on a commercial proposal that I have to give in Brazil. Okay. And now when I crunch the numbers, I'm just thinking, hey, are these numbers like too high for somebody for a business in Brazil? If I put these numbers out, is it somebody are they going to fall off their chair? I mean, for example, if you're paying what $100 for a coffee there in India, okay, which is, let's say, €1. And here, if I ask you the same thing, hey, can you pay $500 for a coffee, which is €5 here, which is quite normal, you will fall off your chair. It's just that. So these perceptions, and for that, the best person for me was I just contacted somebody in the alumni network of Mel, who I know is in the she has an expertise in finance within the port sector, and she's in Brazil. So I just called her up and asked her, hey, what advice can you give me? So we had a quick 15-minute chat, and then yeah, she gave me her opinion on it. So it's just this, so it's about how to expand network across the globe. So anywhere in the globe, any part, if I have something, I know there is somebody from Mel or somebody who knows somebody from Mel, and I make use of that. And for me, that's been very helpful. Again, honestly, from where I come from, being a very introverted person, making use of this network, for me, that's been a big growth for sure. And finally, it has been about having fun. I enjoyed my time while I was at Mel. I had a lot of fun. So they were just fun times, and some great friends who are still my friends. It's not like, yeah, after the batch it got over. We still catch up. The few of them are still here in Rotterdam. Few of them are out. Uh, like last year, I had traveled to the US, and I had my own hotel, but then I still went and slept on the couch of a friend of mine. So it's it's about just having fun, all in all. Yeah, those are my thoughts.
Thanks, Abhishek. That makes a lot of sense. And then, yeah, I mean that's probably what most of you, if you're willing to invest your time and efforts in this college, may get a few years down the line. I'll just quickly take you through on how CN Beyond could help. So CN Beyond is probably, I mean, in India, we are the only partners for MEL. Worldwide also, there are very few partners who support MEL in the various activities. And so we are partnered to about 40 odd colleges in maritime field, and MEL being one of them. We know the ranking of MEL. We kind of support them. So it's not just support in terms of application. So for example, if you're wanting to write an application, you want to have a recommendation letter. Whom should I get it from? How should I write it? If you're wanting to, fill the application letter, we can support you. Once you are done, then in terms of, licensing about your payment of fees, for example, sometimes you may want to pay a little later or stagger it. So that's where we've helped a couple of persons. There are a couple of master mariners, honestly, who were thinking of giving GMAT or not, and then we advise them of what university thinks, and your application automatically becomes strong. Once it is through, then in terms of remittance of fees, and that's a little bit tricky, because if you want to do it from NRE account, which most of the mariners have, it becomes a little difficult. So we've tied up with a couple of companies who can help you remit the money from the comfort of your home. Visa assistance, MEL is fairly good at it. We don't honestly need to support, but nevertheless, if you need any assistance in terms of visa, in terms of accommodation, in terms of forex, in terms of CV preparation and all, we can always support you over there. So yeah, that's essentially the value added services from CN Beyond. We can, I guess, stop sharing the presentation, Felicia, and take the question and answers. I see there are a few persons who have already put in their questions, and I'll go from the top. I'll take those questions, and anyone else who has a question can start writing it in the chat window, and we'll take it from there. So let's start from Nilanchal's question, and his question is, does data science include teaching Python or R, until what level? I'm not sure if you're teaching data science in this, but if you are, and then at what level, please, Felicia?
Yeah, so for the data science course and as well the management science course, you will be using R. But yeah, it's not too in depth. It's just the basic starting functions and this basic statistic and programming that you can do with R. It won't go too in depth. No.
Okay, great. And
if I can just add there, I mean, if you're looking to become a programmer or a data scientist, then this is not the course for you. This is about giving you the basics. Okay. And again, you can be an absolute zero in data science when you come into this.
Yeah.
So it's absolute beginners.
And follow-up question from Nilanchal was, does the core module give a detailed insight into commercial shipping like chartering and broking?
I'd like to take this. Okay. So because so Nilanchal, great question. Okay. Now what you need to understand is that this course is a highly academic course. Okay, and it is looking at concepts that are probably 10 years ahead of where the industry is, 10 or sometimes even 20 years ahead of what the industry is. Now, shipbroking as such, or just chartering as such, honestly, you don't need to do any kind of, I'm assuming you already have some experience sailing. You don't need any kind of further education to go to chartering or shipbroking. It is, you can do that even without. Okay. So yeah, you can obviously, yeah. I mean, what you would study here is not chartering and shipbroking, but it is about concepts that you will apply to concepts of broking. How can you be a, let's say, a better broker? How can you be better at chartering? That is what, those are the things that you'll be learning. How can you optimize your supply chain? How can you optimize logistics? Those are things that you'll be learning. If you are again looking towards just purely at shipbroking, I would highly recommend that you do a professional qualification examination of the ICS, which is the Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers. I have to mention that yes, I am the founding member of the ICS Netherlands branch, also the vice chair of the branch at the moment. So if you have any doubts about ICS, you can always contact me. But again, bottom line is this course is much above that. So chartering and broking is just a profession, is a part of the industry. What you're going to be learning here is our concepts far ahead of that.
Commercial shipping is always the most aspirational place for
No, I fully understand where he's coming from, because probably, when I was sailing, I thought it's a natural progression for me to do shipbroking or to do chartering. But it's only when you get into that, you think, oh my God, this is, yeah, I didn't have to do a course, a 1-year course to do this.
That makes sense. Question for you, Felicia, about the scholarships, please.
Okay. Yeah. Just if there are any scholarships in general is the question.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Yeah. Good question. So unfortunately, MEL is limited in the scholarships. We do offer one from MEL directly, which is that you submit an essay, and based on the essay, you can get 10 to 20% off of the tuition fee. But beyond that, MEL itself does not have any scholarships. So we really encourage you to check whether either within your government or there's any organizations that you as an Indian can apply for that does offer scholarships. But for MEL's end, it's very limited.
MEL is a little stingy in the scholarships. All right. From Shaurya, any requirements for WorkX for admission? So can a person just after studies directly apply for the course, or do you require to work?
Yeah, so I would say that your application will be stronger if you do have some work experience, and we do look mostly at that. But I will also say that we do always every year also admit a few that have come straight from the bachelor, but then it will have to be a relevant bachelor that also has some quantitative subjects in there, so they already have some, let's say, starting knowledge from that. That's what we do focus on. But yes, it is possible to apply as well without work experience, but it is encouraged to have the work experience.
Sure. Thanks. Question from Om. Om, yeah, I can answer the first one. It's a 12-month course. The second question is the course accredited by CIPS? I'm not sure what CIPS is, but if you know, Felicia, Abhishek, can you comment?
No, it's accredited by the Dutch and Flemish Associations for Accreditations, which is so it's accredited by the Dutch accreditation, actually, because it is in the Netherlands. So it's an accredited program, but not the one that you mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah, just to add there, just a few days back, I had, another candidate had asked this question to me regards to, is it an accredited course? So I just want to allay all those fears. So this is, it is you get a proper degree from a master's degree from Erasmus University. Okay, so it is valid globally. You don't have to have any additional accreditation or things like that. It is accepted globally.
Also, I saw in the maritime courses list worldwide, I guess this course is ranked in the top 3 or top 5, so fairly highly ranked course as well. Follow-up question from Om, and this maybe Felicia, if you could answer. What is the post-study work visa that a candidate could get, and can the person work part-time while he or she is doing the course, and if so, how much, how long?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good questions as well. To answer the first one, graduated and you have a degree, then you can stay in the Netherlands for 1 year on what they call the formation or searcher visa, which allow you a year to either stop or be at a job that for 1 year. A good thing with that is that you can use within 3 years. So decide that it's possible for 16 hours. However, we from Mel always strongly difficult to actually work because it is quite intense that you will be following. So it's best to just focus on that rather than also having then a job that you need to do. So yeah, we're not big proponents of part-time work while doing this intensive program.
I would fully second what Felicia is saying. I don't recommend doing part-time work during the course. The only time where you would have some spare time is probably in that time of July, August, and September when you're writing a thesis. That's a time when you could probably look at doing some part-time work. Where I currently work at Port Exchange, we've already given internships to almost like 3 candidates over the last 3 years who've been working part-time, and then they've got other better jobs and they've moved on. But yes, during the main course time, you will not be able to. No, you cannot.
It seems. Can you hear me? Sorry about that. I guess there's some internet issues at my place. And I know you've answered this question, and I'll go on to the next question. The next question is, will the certificate, what kind of certification or degree does a candidate receive after doing this course?
Yeah, so you get a Master of Science from the Erasmus University Rotterdam.
So it's not a diploma, it's a degree.
No. Yeah, a degree.
And question from Navdeep, if you could highlight the average salary that a person would get and the probability you already did in the slide, but would you have a number to the salary package, please?
And to be honest, that is not possible to say. Sorry, because as originally said, we have diverse students in the class, so the work experience that they have, the age that they are, all varies. Also, the job that they enter varies. Some enter more junior positions, some enter more mid-level, senior positions, of course. Then also the salary range will vary very widely. So it's hard to pin your person with the markets. Hard to put the number on it.
Sure. Understood, Felicia.
Yeah, I'll just add there. So guys, see, I know it's a very valid question, but the thing is, it's a big spectrum. Imagine, see, you can't expect a chief engineer to take a fifth engineer salary, correct? But can a chief engineer fulfill the roles of a fifth engineer? Yes, obviously, yes. So it depends on what job you're taking and where you are in the career ladder. So it's a very wide spectrum. Okay. The Dutch government as such will have minimum requirements. Hey, that if you have finished a master's degree, the minimum salary that has to be paid to you is I think it's close to 35,000 of 38,000, something like that, annually. Okay. So I know of candidates who have started off at that salary range, that 38,000 annual salary range. I also know of somebody who is after Mel has straight away headed into that 130, 140K salary range. So it's a very, very broad spectrum. And it again depends very much on you, what is your work experience. Okay. So please bear that in mind. And then I also want to remind all of you that if you are thinking that, hey, I will do this Mel and then I will stay in Rotterdam and I'm going to build a new Taj Mahal there. That's not going to happen. Okay. Europe as such is a very, socialistic economic structure, which is, cradle to grave. So the more you earn, the more you will pay taxes. Okay. So your savings will be practically zero. No matter how much you earn, yeah, you will save, but you will save very little. So not like when you were sailing and you were saving, practically 60 to 70% of your salary. That will not happen here. Okay. So please bear that in mind. I'm happy to take one-on-ones on this. Yeah.
Thanks, Abhishek. Good, and I think there are a few one-on-ones which we'll ask you. But a good question from Om. How is the current job market condition over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good question. It was the last year there were more jobs than applicants or people searching, so then it was quite high. It has shifted a bit, but it's still good. There's still lots of opportunities. And as I said, the recent batch that graduated September 2023, 85 to 90% of working already. So
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, everybody gets a job, guys. Okay, so that's basically labor market economics. You will learn again about that in Mel. So the longer you are out there, you will get a job. Okay. Finding the right job that you want, that is very difficult. Okay, that takes time. Okay, but getting a job, everybody gets a job. I hardly know of anybody who came here and did not get a job. You will obviously get a job. Some people get it. Yeah, as Felicia said, even just within, let's say, 6-7 months within the course time itself, you're already getting a job. Some people get it immediately after graduation. Some people get it within 3-4 months after graduation. So again, there's a spectrum there. Also, it depends on what are you willing to take. What kind of risk are you willing to take? You say that no, I will not take this job that has landed, the first job that lands in your lap. You say no, I will wait more. So yeah, if you are willing to wait, yeah, that's up to you. But getting a job, yeah, you will obviously get a job, guys. Come on, yeah.
Good to know, Abhishek. So that's the first apprehension, this thing that most persons have. Will I get a job? You won't get a job.
I mean, that's a thing also with, especially when you're coming from sailing, you think, what will I do? I don't know what will I do. But surprisingly, which is good for us, the market as such views you differently. The market views you like, hey, you have, had experience in a highly operational environment, where things were with a high risk, you were managing, big assets. That's how the market views you. So it is also time for us to also understand as sailors and shippies that, yeah, okay, I'm running this engine, okay, I'm running this ship, but look at a broader sense. What is it? How does it fit into the bigger scheme of things? So the work that you're doing already is quite impactful already. So it's about how you wrap it around and present it to somebody.
Yep. Sure. Thanks, Abhishek. Question from Shaurya. He's done one contract as third mates. He's working as a vessel operator. for a few months. How would you suggest this course would be for him?
Yeah, that also just depends for himself as well and what he's looking for. It's actually only he can answer that question. So if he's happy to be working as a vessel operator, then he can decide maybe for another year or two to be doing that. If he thinks like, no, I want to now make a different move or move up somehow and you need a study for that, then it could be an option. But then again, have a look at where it is that you want to go. Have a look if what is being taught at MEL is teaching you what you need to know to go where you want to go. Maybe there's another program that's more aligned with that if you want to go into more, I don't know, shipping finance specific area, for example. There's a course for that. So just it's very personal again what his goal is, and if then what he thinks this will fit with that. But yeah.
All right. Comments from you, Abhishek?
Now again, I don't have the full info about him, but if you're saying okay, one contract as third mate and few months as operator, I don't have the full picture, but the way I'm looking at it is, I would say continue building your career ashore, because since you're already a vessel operator, spend some more time there, get at least 3-4 years of experience, and then going for a mid-career education is my opinion. That is what I would recommend.
Yeah. Depends on your age also. If you're late
exactly.
30s, late 20s or early 30s, it's maybe the right time. But if you think in 4 or 5 years you go mid 30s, then maybe better now than before. So
yeah, definitely. Definitely, yes. That if you're in that age group of, let's say, 27 to 32, 33, that is definitely, and you already have, let's say, 5 years of work experience behind you, then this mid-career education is very, very ideal. And I would then also recommend that you start looking at maybe MBA courses, is what I would recommend.
All right. Pooja's question is sailing background mandatory?
No,
it's not. It's just that we are a cohort of marinas in this thing, but otherwise, I guess about 80% are non-marinas in the course.
yeah,
about 80%. Yes. All right.
And that is the good part of it, because otherwise throughout our sailing life, you go for your exams, you go for any additional courses. We are always again sitting only with chippies, and the only thing you will talk about is I took my ship through this, I took my ship through that, I did this with the engine, I did that with the engine. So now it is time for you to start talking about other things, and learn about something more.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. Anirban's question: How can the course help him in career ashore after doing an extra master's use? Essentially, I think there are two questions. One is a second engineer, chief engineer, COC. So does the COC really matter in this particular course, be it extra masters, be it second engineer, chief engineer? Abhishek, do you want to take that first?
To the best of my knowledge, no. Let's not forget, your COC is a professional qualification. It is not an academic qualification. Doing that is how the whole thing came out, when especially from the deck side, we were direct entry cadets, and we were only getting COC, and then said, there is no degree for this. And then they say, okay, fine. Along with this, we will also give you a B.SC from Mumbai University. So it's a what you'll do at MEL is an academic qualification. It being a post-experience course, that is why they also value your work experience. If you take me, for example, I don't have a bachelor's degree. I'm a direct entry cadet. Okay, I did lots of other diplomas and things in on the way, but I'm a direct entry cadet. So, but I applied for MEL and I got it for my work experience.
Understood. Yeah. So I mean, I don't think, and this may better answer this question, that if an employer comes to hire after doing this course, they may not ask you your COC. They will ask you your experience, right? They may ask you, I mean, what are their responsibilities? To many companies over there, the COC really may not matter. Right. All right. Okay. Let me take Alam's question. I'd answered it though, but he's given a good perspective as well. So he's saying that over a year you spend about, and he's done the mathematics, about 36 lakhs. And he's saying that after that year you get about 30 lakhs a year from there on. That's maybe, that's the average package which he's assuming. So he's asking, is it worth it?
Again, it's a very subjective question. Depends. Alam, really depends on what your priorities are. What are your future goals? Okay. If again, as I told you, if if you have, let's say, a loan behind you, liabilities behind you, okay, and then you say that no, this 40K or 50K euro salary is not sufficient for me. That's not sufficient for you. Then you look for something else. Okay. So it's a very broad spectrum, Alam.
I think his question is coming from a perspective of return on investment.
So again, return of investment, yes, there are quantitative bits to it, but there are also a lot of qualitative elements to it. I was just recently, I was going over the methodology that S&P, Fitch, and Moody's give to countries, where they are giving you ratings, right? In those ratings that they're giving to countries, imagine. Those ones, 13 elements of that are subjective, qualitative, and only 5 elements are quantitative. So that is, you can only 5 elements of these ratings that they give to countries, or on which the markets will completely crash or markets will rise. Of that, only 5 elements are based on data, and our rest 13 elements are only based on perception. So now if you're looking at ROI primarily on, I have spent so much, I have spent 30K, and then I want to recover that money in, let's say, 5 years. Yeah, I think you'll definitely recover it in 5 years. But you have to look at, okay, with this midterm career education, how much am I going to grow personally? How much am I setting myself up for greater success? So yeah. And again, don't forget, is it aligning with your family values? Now, all of us have aging parents, does it work for you to be away for a few years? So you have to work around different things.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to look at the holistic picture. Quantitative is just one part of it.
Yeah, but I'm happy, Alan, if you can make some Excel model on this, I'm happy to give you feedback on it. And we have a nice research project.
Right. I've got a question from Surjit, and he's a sailing ETO. He's 40 plus. He's done bachelor's of electrical electronic engineering, and he apparently he likes this course. Doesn't want to sail. He wants to know regarding the salary part after doing the course, which we've already mentioned. The second part is English test, which bothers him, IELTS and TOEFLs for admission. So, Felicia, is IELTS and TOEFL required for this course?
Yeah, so as I said, proof of English proficiency is required, which is mostly demonstrated through either the IELTS or the TOEFL test. But then again, if you are a native English speaker, or if you have already done a study in the English language, and so you just have a letter stating from the university or whatever that the course was taught in the English letter, then that can also be used to demonstrate the English proficiency.
Thanks. So essentially, Surjit, if you can showcase a mark sheet where it's written that your medium of study was English, you're not required to give IELTS or TOEFL. But even if you have to give IELTS and TOEFL, honestly, for persons in India done from English medium, it's not a very big deal to get the required marks over there. All right. Now, I think a very good question from Shaurya, and I think what he wants to understand is language a barrier in getting to the best opportunities? So, do you really need to learn Dutch for getting the best opportunities? Both to you, first Felicia and then Abhishek.
Yeah, good question. I would say that from experience and all the alumni that have gotten jobs, most have a Dutch course, but a minimal, and still based on that, they have been able to get a job. Also because the companies that they do end up working for, or even the shipping industry itself, it's very English international. So that is usually a medium that's used as the language anyway. I do say that there is, of course, always the chance or the case that indeed, if there's a candidate who is Dutch and a candidate who is non-Dutch, and they both have similar qualifications, but of course the Dutch candidate speaks both Dutch and English, and the non-Dutch candidate speaks English, that there is a preference potentially for then the Dutch candidate, because then they get also two birds with one stone. So yes, it does on occasion happen, but it's for finding a job. And again, as long as what we very often see, as long as you're showing a willingness to learn Dutch, so either you have taken a Dutch course or you're saying like, oh, I'm starting a Dutch course, then there's already this initiative and this willingness is already a good plus point that they see as positive when applying for a job.
Sure. Thanks, Felicia. Your thoughts on this, Abhishek?
So to me, yes, no doubt. You want to have better prospects, better career opportunities, you have to learn the language. Okay. But that is very, very long term. When you finish this course and you're looking for a job, no matter how good you are at languages, you are at or either zero at Dutch or maybe at an A1 level. You are only looking for those jobs where Dutch is not a requirement. And these are companies that are always hiring multinational. These are multinational companies and hiring for expats. If I have to give an example, let's say Maersk Line, or let's say M.SC, CMAC, and Stolt Tankers. Okay, these are hiring for expats. So they know that you can't speak the language. But over the long term, so let's say you're staying here for 5+ years, and then you want to look for much higher level positions, then knowing Dutch is definitely very, very beneficial. Okay. That being said, I am here for 8 years. I'm still not fluent. Okay. I can dabble a bit, but I'm still not fluent. Okay. But still, yeah, I currently work for a company that's owned by the government of Netherlands. So that should allay your fear. So even in a government company, without speaking the language fluently, I'm still there. When I was at Stolt, to be honest, on the trading floor, I think the Dutch were the minority. I mean, people who knew Dutch were the minority, and yeah.
All right. Sure. Thanks for that perspective. It really helps. Now, question from Ganesh and Shankar. What's the average age in the course, and what's probably the ideal age to do this course? To both Felicia and Abhishek.
Did you say what's the average age?
That's right.
Yeah, I think the question.
Okay. Yeah, so the average age is 27, 28, and the range ranges from 23, 24 to sometimes even people in their 40s, but generally mid-30s.
You're discriminating me, Felicia. But I do. There were also candidates who were in the 50s also, honestly.
No, I think the oldest we've had was 46 or 48.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, good to know that data, but what's the ideal age? Abhishek, what do you think? What's the ideal age to do this course?
Well, I would definitely recommend in that 27 to 30 range, provided you already have about 5 years of work experience. 27 to 32, I would say that is a great time to switch gears in your career, is what I would say.
Okay, great. Here comes a question from Shankar. Shankar is 50. All right, he's asking, will it be good for you? Honestly, Shankar, what I feel is it depends why you are doing this course. If you're really, passionate to learn about economics, if you really, are doing it for skill enhancement, I think there's never a, wrong age for it. But if you are just looking for, a job and all those things, you would, of course, I would assume you would get that, but then you have about 8-9 years of to kind of get the ROI. Whereas a person who's doing that 30, she has about 30 years to get the ROI.
Definitely, yes. Yeah.
All right. Fine. I don't see any more questions over there. All right, there's one from Alam. Third engineer, 7 years sailing. What are the shore job opportunities which were available right now for you globally? Alam, world is your oyster. You can get any and every opportunity at this kind of experience. You are,
Yeah, absolutely.
I assume you're at the right age, and you have the experience. So with this course in the presentation, Felicia already highlighted what all you could get into. It's now for you to think what do you want to do? And once you think that what you want to do, select the right course and then go about getting that goal. We at CN Beyond can of course help you in any kind of mentoring guidance that you would need.
Yeah, absolutely. Just as Gaurav said, the world is your oyster. I was very surprised. So in one of the slides that Felicia showed, where graduates have ended up, I saw on the list even ASML. And in case you guys don't know what ASML, so ASML is a tech company that makes machines that makes high-tech chips. That is, people like NVIDIA or Intel or TSMC, they need this machine from ASML because ASML is probably one of the only companies in the world which can make this machine that will help you to build chips. Not Pringles, not Lay's chips. These are computer chips. So I was very surprised to see that company. It's one of the top companies in the world, ASML, and it's based here in the Netherlands. So it's very good to see there. And why do you find, because post pandemic, what has happened is supply chain and logistics has come to the forefront. Everybody says, that everything becomes a supply chain and logistics business. And you need professionals in this sector, in supply chain and logistics everywhere. And that is what you are, when coming from a maritime background, you are already in supply chain logistics, and then you top it up with a course that is so specific around logistics and supply chain, which is like MEL. You are becoming the specialist in that field, in supply chain logistics. After doing this, you want to start a milk company, you can do that also. In any commodity market, supply chain is king. Any commodity market, supply chain is king. You want to grow mushrooms. Even if you grow mushrooms, even then supply chain and logistics is where you will actually make money. So yeah.
Right, great. Om's question, Om, you already answered it. This question is about scholarship. There is one scholarship which is available based on the essay which you write, based on the background that you have. Not very many persons get the scholarship. The details of the scholarship were there in the PPT, I believe, and we'll share the PPT with you. It's not basis the grades, it's basis what you how you present your case to the university. Right. don't see any more questions, I'll take a quick poll on, would you be interested in the course? In the meanwhile, Prateek, if you can just write down, how people can connect to us in the chat window, please, if you can provide our email IDs and all. So there's a poll on your screen right now. Would you be interested? If so, and those who are, when you plan to enroll as such. We have a couple of more minutes. If anyone has any question, please write that through. While we end this webinar, and I'll have one more poll before that, but I wanted to hear from both of you, Felicia and Abhishek, on the intervention of technology. And so the question from you, Felicia, is how's the curriculum, if at all, has changed towards teaching more of technology, and do you see more companies who are asking for people who are more proficient in it? And from a business perspective, the same question to you, Abhishek. First to you, Felicia.
Yeah, so I would say that, first of all, something that's now quite useful to have is the use of programming. So that is what we have introduced into the course in the data science and the management science course. And then also throughout the course itself, there have been steps in digitalization that are happening in the industry. And also things such as like blockchain that was from the past few years. So that does get included into the curriculum and what is taught to the students. And then also quite a lot the guest lectures or the company visits that we go to, they also touch upon this subject and how it applies within the company as well. So yeah, it's when quite a lot of students actually write, well, a few students also every year write their thesis on the subject as well. So it is definitely a hot topic and does get incorporated into the program, of course, as well.
Thanks, Felicia. Your perspective on this, Abhishek.
Yeah, I mean, I would say definitely there's a big demand for tech skills within the maritime and shipping sector, no doubt about that. And because these sectors have been progressively becoming more and more digital. Now I'll just take the example of stored tankers. Okay, so in 2016, 2017, 2018, the IT department was only one small room of, let's say, 6-7 fellows, sitting in one corner, just one corner. Okay. And they were reporting directly to, one of them was assigned to the ship owning team, one of them was assigned to the chartering team. Okay, and that was how it was being handled. Okay, and today they have a chief information officer, a chief technology officer who's on the C-suite. So that's how important that whole stream has become. So now it's a complete team. So it's not 6 people sitting on one table somewhere, with some broken computers around them. No, it's not that anymore. So now it is like one floor that has got a significant pull in whatever strategy the company makes. So I mean, other sectors have already become, they have said that, we are a data first company and all that has all happened already. In the shipping sector, that is still just growing, but it is becoming of greater prominence now. Same thing with ports also. When I go to any ports, every port is having a chief information officer, a chief technology officer, and they have a lot of pull. They decide what needs to be done further. So yes, tech skills are very much in demand.
Absolutely.
In our sector. Yes.
Right, absolutely. And good to know, the university is also catering to it. And to the industry, I think the best person is who can understand business and tech. Very few persons like Abhishek who could understand both these things. Right. One final question, a feedback on the webinar. I don't see any more questions coming through. So this is were your expectations met? And this is to the audience. How was the session useful for you, and how would you rate the session? And if there are any things that you would like us to improve upon, any particular things that we may have missed, you want us to change, please also mention it in the chat window, or you can email us as well. I'll write down our email ID as well. You may email to education@cnbeyond.com. If you have any queries about the course, you want to get any information, we should be able to help you. All right, guys, I guess that's pretty much it. Thanks for joining in, and I mean, the idea was to help you take a well-informed decision in whatever you want to do. And I hope it helped through this webinar to meet that goal. Thanks, Abhishek. Thank you, Felicia, for your time. You prepared for the presentation. You were here, spent a good 2 hours with us, and really appreciate you doing this exercise year on year. And every time ever so passionately. Thank you so much.
Yeah, for me, I look at it as my responsibility, to make sure that seafarers who want to take mid-career education, they should be rightly informed. Okay, so as I said, when I did not have any kind of a guidance, but the least I could do now is help others. So yeah, for me it's my passion project. So I'm more than happy, as I said, and I'm really serious about it. You guys anyone wants to have a one-on-one with me, I'm more than happy to do it. Yeah, you can contact Gaurav, okay, or you can contact me on LinkedIn. You can get in touch with me.
Sure. Thanks, Abhishek. All right, guys. Thank you, Felicia, and thank you everyone for this time. And if you have any questions regarding the course, if you need anything, any queries on visa, anything, just reach out to us on education@cnbeyond.